Hey guys, it's Jake and Ryan today.
Hello, we're two men down.
Just two. Mr. Thomas and Alan decided to leave us.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know if you listened to the previous podcast, but when I was doing the editing, the beginning song, it was like a very very soft 5 seconds of the X-Men theme. If anyone caught
Yes.
that, so
Yes.
I think this time I'm gonna make it a lot longer and a lot louder because I can
I, th-
understand
I think
damn
that would be good.
it.
I
So,
still say that the Super Friends should be our theme.
I mean, if I've never seen the Super Friends,
Oh, man, you're so young. I
I,
feel sorry for
I'm
you.
not. I mean, I'm trying to catch up as best I can. Don't hate me.
That's what we're here for. We're here to make you a comic book aficionado.
Hey, I know a lot about comic books. I know way too much. All right, well, let's jump into it this week. Fucking. Let's talk about the that picture that's been circulating
Would you be talking about the Avengers Now picture that's circulating all over the internet?
everywhere, and you
Everywhere.
and the View.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure many comic book fans watched The View for the first time
You know,
this week just to see what the Marvel news was.
why
Way
would
to tie it
they?
into ABC.
Why would they debut a very controversial subject on the View?
I think it's twofold. I think it's because it's ABC, and ABC and Marvel are both owned by Disney now. So it's a great way to cross brand. And then also The View is very much a woman's show. So what better way to announce that you're taking Thor and turning him into a female Thor? Which, by the way, makes no sense because Thor isn't a title. It wasn't like when Beta Ray Bill picked up the hammer that he was all of a sudden Thor, or that when Captain America picked it up, he was Thor. He was no longer Captain America. They've
Yes.
always been who they are, but they've just picked up the hammer. So I think it's really weird that all of a sudden now Marvel's saying, no, Thor's a title. Anyone can hold the title of Thor. And what do we call Thor then? Because he's still going to be around because they're going to have Thor the Unworthy.
He's the
Is he
god of
just going to...
thunder.
Oh, well, he's going to be the unworthy guy with one arm and an axe.
Now, do you think it's who is it? Valkyrie? Is that her name?
No. There are rumblings that it's going to be Jane Foster, which would make sense. I think a lot of this has more to do with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like if you look at the picture and the characters that are included, you see two Inhumans in Medusa and Inferno. You see Winter Soldier, Angelina, who is an old Image character who they bought the rights from
I
Neil
thought
Gaiman.
I thought that was Dark Horse.
No, it was. I want to say it was. I'm pretty sure it was Image, but I could be completely and utterly wrong on that. Won't be the first time, nor will it be the last.
You're probably right.
Scarlet Witch, female Thor, Superior Iron Man, Falcon, Captain America, and then you have Doctor Strange, the Atom, and Deathlock. All those characters besides Deathlock are either have movies that are coming out or are properties that Marvel is trying to get a movie made out, like the Inhumans.
Well, Shield. They have you seen Shield?
Yeah, Agents of the Shield. Yeah, Deathlock did appear on that.
Yeah.
And as we know, with the Marvel universe, the TV and the movie lines are connected. So what you see on TV has a direct impact on the movies and vice versa.
Yeah. They're trying to bring
Uh,
it into the comic books now. Like,
yeah.
wasn't Phil Coulson like not a thing before
Uh,
Avengers?
I th- I think he randomly appeared in some comics. I think it might have been an Ultimate character, but again, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know the names of Shield agents besides Nick Fury.
True. I know
Um,
Maria Hill.
yeah. Oh, and there's another one. But yeah, but Jake, what is your takeaway on these announcements? Like I know we talked about Falcon Captain America last week, but what do you think about female Thor and the Superior Iron Man series that they announced that they're launching as well?
Well, at first I thought it was going to be Angela as a female Thor, as they want to call
Hmm.
it. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's pretty cool. I liked her in Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought she was a right badass. She just
Hmm.
tried to kill everyone. But then
Hmm.
she's in the picture with her, so I was like, okay.
Yep.
I mean, I
Yeah,
guess.
I know that she was really high on the list. I know that the big three that I've heard everyone speculate about are Jane Foster, her, and then Valkyrie.
Well,
Like I said,
Jane
what?
Foster, didn't she? I don't know, spoilers or anyone. Didn't she go? into Asgardian territory, and she's like the contact for humans or
Yeah,
for Midgard.
I think so. I think that's what they're doing. I know that she has a major presence in the Thor movies, and I know that she's had a major appearance in the Thor comics as well.
Yeah.
And the other thing with Jane Foster is that there was a what if story where she picked up the hammer. And, Marvel loves mining those what if stories. I mean, what if Punisher was Captain America? That became a thing. So, I don't put it past them to go, hey, you know what? This was a really interesting what if story. Let's make it real. Yeah. So I'm kind of interested to see what they're going to do. I don't have a problem with like a woman carrying the hammer. I think that, you can't have a problem with that. Just like you really can't have a problem with any of the changes that they're going to make because they're not going to last forever. Yeah. Steve Rogers is going to be Captain America again. You're going to see Thor with the hammer again. I do feel like it's a little bit of stunt casting. It's trying to get people to buy a new #1 because in October they're going to relaunch Thor #1. They're going to launch a new Captain America series at the Falcon. This is what Marvel does now. They, instead of like doing it in issue 25 or 26 and keeping the series going, they cancel the series and then they start anew when that character makes their first appearance.
Yeah, I mean, I hate it. Like, I want like 1 through 95. Like, I want a full series. Stop canceling. Yeah. Like, ever since I jumped back onto comics during Flashpoint, I've enjoyed the 1 through 33 so far. And I've had to pick up at least, I think, 4 or 3 different Wolverine volumes.
Yeah.
I'm just like, just keep it going. Like, keep it one. It's all one story.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that I actually like about it. It gives me a really good jump off point for titles. So before where I would have kept titles going just because I have like really good runs of them, I don't feel that way anymore. So like I can pick up a book like, Moon Knight, where we know that there's going to be creative change coming on. And if I don't like the issues after the creative team leaves, I don't have to keep on picking up that book because you know what's going to happen? It's going to get canceled anyways.
Yeah.
And, and I don't need that complete run. It's, it's not like where it used to be before where, like I would proudly show people that I had 500 through 900 of Action Comics, like I'd been there, or like, that I have complete runs of every Green Lantern series almost. Like I used to be proud of that, but now it's, it's not as big of a deal to me. It makes it a lot easier for me to drop books, and unfortunately for Marvel, it's made it real easy for me to drop a lot of Marvel books that before I had super long runs on. But now I don't feel like, if the story is no good or it doesn't speak to me, because I don't actually believe that there's anything like a really, really bad story. I think somewhere a story has an audience. But if the story isn't for me, I can drop it and I don't feel like I'm missing much and I can pick up the next new volume.
Yep. And that's where they're hurting us because, like, I love Moon Knight. I had I loved the series that I don't remember who wrote it or who drew it. That was last.
Are you talking about the Hickman run, or are you talking about the Bendis run?
The Bendis and Maleev. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That run was like I loved it. I think I was the only one in the entire world who like absolutely loved the entire run.
You were.
And then at the very end, he was like, "Oh, we'll see him again in Age of Ultron. We won't see him again." And then like they kind of like ruined it for me. Like I hate when they cancel books, and like that's just my own state of stinginess because like I want a series to keep going. Like change writers and change artists. Like don't just end a series because it's not doing well. Make it work well.
Yeah, you see, the thing that's killed a lot of the titles that I love is that they're not given time to really gain an audience, whether it be Marvel or DC. Animal Man's a really great example of this. Animal Man was one of the best series that DC was putting out after the New 52, but they never gave that book really a chance. They didn't do any tie-ins with any of the other major books. Like the way that they used to sell these books was Animal Man would start appearing in a Justice League story and it would tie into the Animal Man series. So your Justice League fans or your Batman fans or whoever is picking up that book then has to go and pick up a couple issues of Animal Man to see how it goes. And then all of a sudden you have an audience who maybe didn't know who Animal Man was, but is now buying an Animal Man comic and really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it's not the way that they work anymore. It's not the way that Marvel or DC work anymore. It's all about
Money.
getting people what they want. Yep.
Plus,
And people want, 7 Batman titles, 8 Superman titles, 6 Avengers titles. That's what they want. So Marvel gives it to us.
speaking of Batman titles, you gonna pick up Arkham? Was it Arkham Manor and Gotham, the friggin' teen high school one?
You know what? I will probably give both of those books a try. I don't think they're going to make it to my pull list. They just sound like interesting premises, and those books have a shot at getting picked up and continuing on because of the fact that they're tied into Batman. You already have guys who buy all of the Batman books just because Batman's in it, and that at some point they think those Batman books are going to tie in together. So they're going to pick up those books.
They have dropped 2 Batman books, which I was happy about incorporated because that book sucked. That book was terrible.
But what they do is they drop one Batman book and then they bring in another Batman book.
Sure.
But the thing, getting back on topic, since we've now rambled off of topic.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. Out of the 3 announcements, the one that I found the most interesting was actually Superior Iron Man, and
I didn't read anything on that. Like, is it going to be Tony or is it going to be Arno?
Yeah, it's going to be Tony. He's not going to be mind controlled. They're just going to give us the Tony that I thought that we were going to get after Civil War. Which, if you remember when Civil War first came out with Marvel, everyone hated Tony Stark. Everyone kind of agreed with Captain America and his stance and was kind of on his team, and everyone who was on Tony's team was kind of seen as a jerk. And Marvel was just really trying to push for Tony to be the face of their universe because the Iron Man movie was such a huge hit and people were looking for Iron Man, and he came off as kind of a jerk. And instead of really pushing that forward and letting Tony Stark be that jerk, they pulled back the reins. Everyone's kind of forgiven him, and we have like a lovable Tony Stark. But it looks like going forward that they're going to let Tony Stark be that jerk, that dick that we all kind of want him to be at times. In that story, he's going to move to San Francisco, which seems to be, Marvel's new New York. Yeah. You have Daredevil out there, you have She-Hulk out there, and now you're going to have Iron Man out there. I'm sure that they're going to move a couple of other heroes out there as well. And Iron Man is going to release Extremist onto the population of San Francisco, and that's where the story is going to start. So it's not so much that he's going to be a good guy or a bad guy. He's just going to be one of those really kind of douchey good guys, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, is he going to be all about money?
No, it's not all about the money. It's just all about him thinking that he's right, and whatever he does is going to be right. Like, he's just going to give in to his ego and his id in a way that we haven't seen him do it before. And at least that's what the press releases say.
Is Gillen going to ruin Iron Man again?
Probably.
That was the worst run ever.
No, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with Iron Man. I mean, like I said, a lot of it is stunt casting. A lot of it's like, let's tell a really interesting story, and we can't tell the interesting story anymore. Let's move on.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's talk about another one of the characters. Bucky Barnes.
Oh, yeah, Bucky. I think everyone was kind of surprised when they announced that he wasn't going to be taking over for Captain America again. I think that was kind of like the fan favorite. But then, of course, Marvel had to go and ruin Original Sin for everyone with an internet connection. Yeah. And basically just let everyone know that Bucky is going to be taking over for Nick Fury as the intergalactic assassin that takes care of all of the major problems that come across the universe that the heroes of Earth aren't really willing to deal with.
And they haven't said it like directly.
No.
But Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier title got announced, and and the tagline of that states, quote unquote, Bucky's operating on an intergalactic scale now. The entire Marvel universe is his playing field. And it's like, okay, just ruin that for everyone.
Yeah. And for those of you who aren't reading Original Sin, what Original Sin is kind of shaping up to be is that we find out that Nick Fury and the Watcher were working together this whole time, and Nick Fury was this intergalactic assassin for the Watcher. So if the Watcher thought that someone was going to be a major problem for the Earth, he would send Nick Fury after him. And now that Nick Fury is starting to age, he is looking for a replacement.
Starting to age? He's been aging.
Yeah, well, like really, really aging, since it's been revealed that he's been aging.
Yeah, true.
Which has been in Original Sin. He's looking for a replacement, and all the main characters who've been in Original Sin are the ones that he is hoping will replace him. And one of those characters is Bucky Barnes. So way to go, Marvel. Way to, it almost makes me wish it was back in the day when the internet wasn't around and stories couldn't be really spoiled for you like that. And you'd only hear rumblings at comic book shops from your comic book guy who may or may not be a jerk and just wanted to ruin the fun for you since he had to read the solicitations beforehand.
Hey, did you hear that Bucky Barnes is going to be... Dude, it's on issue 6. At 8.
Yep. Way to go, Marvel.
All right.
But I think that series could be very interesting. I also don't know how long it's going to last. I think you're going to run out of stories to tell with Bucky as intergalactic assassin.
They better not do what they did to Kyle Rayner in New Guardians, because I dropped that book so hard. I was like, I don't care that he's playing the friggin' policeman of the friggin' universe. This is stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that he does it on, like, more of, like, an earthy scale. But, like,
I think part of it will probably be on Earth, but I think a lot of it's going to be happening in space, too. I think it's going to be Bucky in a spaceship, giant robotic arm, taking out aliens.
That's my favorite part, giant robotic arm. Okay, next, let's see who's going on the line. We got Falcon America.
Oh, yeah, we talked about it last week. It was revealed on the Colbert Report. Again, I'm not against Falcon being Captain America. I just wish he had a personality. I mean, and this is probably a good chance for them to actually build a personality, and hopefully they take some cues from the movie, which really did make him like an interesting character. He had his funny moments, but I just feel like it's going to end up being exactly like Batman Beyond. I know there are tons of Batman Beyond fans probably listening to this. I like Batman Beyond, but ultimately it was Bruce Wayne telling Terry exactly what to do and how to do it, and the show was more about Bruce Wayne as a character than it was ever about Terry.
See, I never watched Batman Beyond, so.
See, you miss out on so much.
You said the Justice Society. What do I have to watch again?
What about
the theme song that I have to make?
The Super Friends.
The Super Friends. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, Challenge of the Super Friends.
All right, I'll have to watch it. Okay, but like, I'm not excited for the new Falcon series.
I don't think a lot of people are, because and I think Colbert. A lot of oh, you're talking about the Stephen Colbert picture as Falcon. I don't think that's really going to happen.
I'm pretty sure it will. I'm almost positive it will.
I hope not.
But I hope it doesn't.
No. Just let Rick Remender write it into the ground. Yeah. Like he's doing with Captain America right now.
Dude, and it's so good. Like, are you reading the book?
Captain America? No, I dropped off after Dimension Z.
Oh, yeah, that story.
That was another one of those great Marvel titles that I have an insanely long run on, that I bought like the first 5 issues of it, and then I was like, you know what, Marvel, since you restarted it yet again, I don't feel the need that I have to pick it up. I'll wait until someone else comes along and see if the series is good then, and then I'll start picking up.
Yep. Just do what Marvel decided to do a few years ago and just start on issue, 600 or 500, and then just keep going, and then be like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool, and then cancel it, and then start over with number 1.
You see, like that's kind of my fear especially with like the New 52, like not in the not too distant future. Like we're going to be hitting Action Comics issue 1000 technically.
Oh my god.
And same thing with Detective Comics. And, like a lot of these other books, are they going to go back to legacy titling? I hope not. I mean, that's something that that Marvel did more than DC, but even DC did it with Adventure Comics, which they brought back. I know no one read Adventure Comics, but when they brought it back, it was a Superboy story, and then they turned it into a Legion of Superheroes story, and they went back to the original numbering.
Oh. Numbering and sales and new series are stupid.
Yep.
As long as it's a good story, I don't really care.
Yeah. And that's my problem with Marvel and DC. There aren't as many good stories as there once were.
And then okay, one more character, and then we can get off this topic. Scarlet Witch.
What about Scarlet Witch?
They ruined the end of the Uncanny Avengers story for
Oh, did
me
they?
because she's dead right now,
Yep.
and like they had to go back in future or back in time to like save everything.
Yep. That entire, you know what? Can I tell you that entire series has been ruined for me?
Why?
Was one of the big proponents of Uncanny Avengers. I really, really love that book. But since it's kind of jumped out of the Marvel universe,
Yeah.
you know that everything kind of has to return to its status quo. And as Marvel is announcing new things and you're starting to see characters pop up, you know that ultimately everything's going to go back to the way that it was before.
Yep. Yep. I'm surprised that Quicksilver's not on this big ass picture.
Honestly, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact of the split rights between Fox
Yeah.
and Marvel with him.
That makes sense.
And also, I don't know, did you see the news that Fox tried to buy Time Warner?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they tried to buy Time Warner for like $80 billion or something like that.
Jeez.
And so like people were getting all excited on the internet. They're like, oh, are we going to get to see a crossover between the X-Men and the Justice League and things like that? I think that they're going to keep on trying to buy it.
Do you mean the Avengers?
No. Well, Fox owns the film rights to X-Men.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
And if they bought Time Warner, they would own DC Comics, so they could do the Justice League and the X-Men.
Okay. I get it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be wicked awesome.
I don't think Rupert Murdoch's going to give up. And, you know, I mean, like, if you're going to make that type of offer, you're going to go back to the drawing table and try to get all of Time Warner.
Yeah. No thanks. Okay. Let's move on to a new topic. Well, we have our only two cancellations this week. Thunderbolts and Hawkeye.
The Hawkeye one makes me very sad.
Dude, I have said goodbye to that series. How long has it been? 3 months? 4 months?
Yeah, since the last issue came out? Yeah.
I said goodbye. I was like, okay, he's like bloody and bruised in his basement, and then they give us a Christmas issue, dog issue. I was like, okay, I'm done.
You see, I really like those issues though.
But like, that's the last one. Like they gave us Clint in his cellar. He's beaten and bloody and almost dying, and then they give us a Christmas issue, and then they stop giving us issues. It's like, fine.
No, they gave us a few more issues after that.
Did they?
Yeah. They're on 16 right now. I mean, it has been a couple of months since an issue's come out. I'm not going to lie. And that's something that always hurts books like that. But you can't deny that was one of the most entertaining titles that Marvel was putting.
I was beyond relieved that I had this type of book that I was reading. I was like, this is awesome. And then like every book that I read now, I like if it's funny and fun, I compare it to Hawkeye. Like, is this the next Hawkeye? Like Black Widow. That was the next Hawkeye for me because I was like, this book is fun. The art is amazing.
Yeah, and you're seeing, and Marvel is cherry picking that style too. I mean, even with Secret Avengers, you're seeing it kind of feeling like a Hawkeye book.
Yep. But Matt Fraction, I don't know what's up with him.
Like many big name creators, he is not happy with Marvel nor DC. He's probably going to go on to just continue to do his creator-owned stuff. I kind of see that being like the new way to go, is that you make your name at Marvel or DC for 3 or 4 years, and then you cut ties with all superhero books and you go on and do your own stuff. But because then you have a fan base.
He had a very long Iron Man run.
He did. He had a really long Iron Man run, but a lot of things went wrong with Inhumans. Mm-hmm. Like, he was supposed to write that series, and he was supposed to do the Inhumanity stuff, and him and Marvel just didn't agree on what they should do, so he kind of walked away from that book and gave it to Charles Soule to take over. But yeah, ultimately, I think that's what you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of these creators come up, cut their teeth at the big two, and then go on to Image, Dark Horse, Boom, wherever they can go to get their books published, and they're going to go over there and they're going to publish their books.
Yeah, I mean, I love Sex Criminals. That's a good book.
It is a good book.
I do the review for the site, and it's been a while since the last issue came out. I mean,
Yeah.
I think 6 or 5 or 4 or whatever issue came out, but before that, it has still been a while before that issue came out.
Yeah.
They're killing me, slowly but
Yep.
surely. They're killing me.
Yeah, that's like the pro and con of doing your own book. Like if you're working for DC and Marvel, they're gonna pretty much force you to get a book out monthly. In Marvel, they sometimes run 2 books a month. Then when you're on your own, it's all on you. It's like how quickly can you get it done? There's no editor really saying, "Hey, get that book out." But what kills you is if it takes too long for you to put out a book. Comic fans are fickle, and we only have so much money to use, and we kind of go to whichever other book fills that need that we have.
Yep. Like I wouldn't be reading Superman now if like Action Comics and stuff like that if I didn't love Superman Unchained. So I was like, this like I know it's not a great story, but it was good enough for me to like enjoy Superman. And then I bought Superman Earth 1, both of those volumes, and I was like, oh crap, let me give the other books a try. And then I've been, like reading the new Ramita and John's book.
Oh yeah,
which is pretty good.
Yeah, the first issue is good. I always try to wait 3 issues in, but no, the Superman books have been decent. They're not great. They're not like the best runs ever, but I mean, I really enjoy Action Comics. I've enjoyed it since Pop took over.
It's turning into the Batman franchise.
It is. Well, and like I said, DC's going to give their fans what they want, and what their fans want, they want Superman, they want Batman, they want Justice League books. So.
And speaking of what their fans want, we want a movie and TV show crossover.
And we're not going to get it.
That'll never happen.
I wouldn't say never. Jeff Johns just put the kibosh on a ton of people's hopes, and honestly, I think it was a bad move for DC to say that. They're killing it on TV, and they can use TV as a way to really kind of build these characters. And now I understand we're never going to see Ben Affleck on, the Flash TV show portraying Batman. I get that. He's not going to do like a single episode of that show.
No.
But it's a great way to build up characters like the Atom, like Firestorm, and get fans behind them. So when they appear in the movies, it's not like people are like, well, who the heck is this? And also, I mean, like you have a great performance going on as Green Arrow on the show of Arrow. And now if you introduce Green Arrow into a Justice League movie, it's not going to be the same actor.
That's true. But I know that the people in the TV show are down to do the movies.
Yeah.
As you see
of course.
Stephen Amell on Facebook every single day. Like, I mean, I would love to do it, but
yeah,
I just can't.
Yeah. No, I mean, it sucks, and I don't think that it's really the smart way to go. I mean, DC is killing it on TV. Where Marvel wins the movies, but DC will always win the television shows and will win like the animated shows. So having those characters that you could mine and put in movies later and have fans already have an attachment to them, you're pretty much saying, no, that's not going to happen. If we do the Atom, you're not going to see Brandon Routh. And, if we do Green Arrow, you're not going to see Stephen Amell. You're going to see brand new faces that you're not going to recognize, and they're going to have a completely different story than the one that you're used to.
That's true. Then they're going to try to, like, catch up. Then it's just going to be a lot of wasted time.
Mm-hmm. But hey, maybe they'll just do what they do in the DC comic book universe and say, no, this doesn't happen in continuity, like the Damian Wayne, and then say, oh, no, wait, we've changed our minds. It does happen. And so never say never until you see a different actor cast as Green Arrow in the Justice League movie.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so I guess we're done with the big news this week. What do you want to talk about? Like, what did you read this week?
I read a lot this week.
All right, hold on. Let me do this. Give me your top 3 right now.
My top 3 books that I've read would probably be Wicked and Divine 2.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a solid book. Teen Titans #1 I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would probably be Manifest Destiny. with a close fourth going to She-Hulk, and then Magneto being right behind at 5.
Okay. Let's talk about the Wicked and the Divine.
Yes.
By the person who destroyed Iron Man for almost everyone in America.
But he's a good writer. I just don't know if he's a good superhero writer.
See, my buddy, he loves Iron Man, and it was ruined. I was like, hey, you should give The Wicked and Divine a try. It's a really good book, even though it's the person who killed your favorite hero. I was like, he's good at writing non-superhero stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't understand. Like, this is about demons and... Well, not demons, gods.
Yeah, and it's about the group called the Pantheon. What I really kind of like about the book is that you're kind of dropped in the middle of things, and you're kind of piecing things together as the characters are, which makes it like a really fun and interesting read. And it always makes me go back and have to reread the issues. I really like the character of Lucifer in the stories. I think that she's like really funny and kind of plays. I guess she's written the way that I would expect Lucifer to be written. The character is attractive. You like the character, but the name itself states that there's, something nefarious going on with
wicked.
her. Yep, absolutely.
That makes sense. Like, I just jumped into it this week because I saw issue 2 on the stand, and I saw the variant, and I was like, Zdarsky, or how do you pronounce his name? Like, I love his art, and I was like, I can't pass this up. Like, I have to read this now. Like, I saw the Mr. Thomas review up on the site.
Yep.
And apparently everyone loved it.
Yeah.
So I gave it a try. I thought it was good. Like you said, you jump right in. And the end of the first issue, the courtroom scene.
Yes.
I think. I thought that was awesome. I always love when courtroom debacles happen, like in Daredevil.
Yep. Woo. Not giving away anything about Wicked and Divine. No, but it's a really good book, and if you're into not your typical, tights comic book, it's a great book to pick up. It's a really good read. I like the fact that there's definitely a history in the book that everyone else seems to be aware of, except for the reader, and we're getting a little bit of that with every issue. And the review on the last page, I'm like, who is this? And why do I have to wait a month for issue 3 to come out?
Like this, going off of last week, I am one of those hipsters that, quote unquote, I'm doing the air quotes right now, that likes to trade weight a lot of Image books because they're good in chunks. Like right now, like you said, you want to know what's happening. Like you want this, like. If I could read this trade by trade, I would, but they got me hooked on these issues.
Well, I mean, Image knows what their market is, and they know a lot of people trade weight, and like their first trade paperbacks are always like $12.
Well, usually 10.
For the 10 or 12, whatever. Maybe I'm thinking about the Canadian prices. But it's a good way to get people in. But I'm always that guy who's at the comic book shop, and I always try to save myself one more comic a week. So every week, even if it's not on my pool, I have enough money to grab one more comic. I don't always grab one more comic, but when I see stuff that grabs my attention, I pick it up. Sometimes it's Image, sometimes it's not Image. Like the last couple that I've picked up have been The Wicked and Divine, which was Image. I also picked up The Woods and The Life After, which were by different publishers, and I really, really enjoyed those books. And now they're on my pull list, and now some other books have been dropped from the big 2 to make room for them.
Okay. You'll have to tell me about the Woods a little later. But
oh yeah, it's a great book.
Okay, well, let's not talk about it now,
Fair enough.
Because I want to know what it's about. All right, so the Wicked and Divine. What do you give it? Buy, borrow, burn.
I say it's a buy. I think it's a solid series. We're 2 issues in. I just think it's anything can happen. I don't want to say it's indefinitely on my pull, but it's piqued my interest enough for me to pick it up for another month.
Yep, same here. I give it a buy. Pretty much everything you just said. Okay, next you mentioned Teen Titans, which I did not buy, but I want to.
I enjoyed Teen Titans. I'm a big fan of Will Pfeiffer. For people who aren't familiar with him, Will Pfeiffer was actually like a big part of the DC universe around the 1 year later story, which took place after the New 52. He had a really good run on Catwoman. He had a severely underrated run on Aquaman, and he did amazing things with his Dial H for Hero run.
The New 52 one?
No, this was before the New 52 one. The New 52 one is awful, but his was really good. It was more of like an anthology series where the dial went around to different people, and as different people found the dial, they would get superpowers. It was kind of like if you're familiar with 100 Bullets by Vertigo, where it's almost an anthology, where the only thing that's the same in every issue is the case and the gun and the fact that you're given a picture of the person that you want to take out. The thing with Dial H was that the dial came to you, you dialed in, you kind of got to do whatever you wanted with the superpowers.
American Vampire.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Criminal.
But what I liked about the new Teen Titans was that it reminded me of that pre-New 52 feel of DC, where it's just like a really solid first issue. You're kind of reintroduced to the characters, so if you haven't read the New 52 version of the Teen Titans, you're not really missing out. Pfeiffer really establishes like who each character is. Like Red Robin is definitely the leader, barking out orders at everyone. You have your Heavy and Wonder Girl, who's like, on top of this fast-moving bus, throwing terrorists off of it. Beast Boy, who's sneaking on as Hummingbird and then becoming a tiger, and then realizing that Tiger may not have been the best choice since it's a school bus full of children that he's on, and now everyone's afraid of him. And, Raven gets her moments. Bunker gets his moments. And so in that respect, it was really solid. However, if I have to be honest, the art left a lot to be desired. Not so much in the fact of the way that the characters looked. It's a really beautiful art style, but there is a ton of white space, and the entire issue is about a runaway bus in Times Square heading for a Star Labs building. And the book has no movement whatsoever. Like, nowhere do you feel like this bus is speeding. You feel like the bus is standing still.
Usually.
Yeah. So, like, it just doesn't it's lacking the speed effects. It's the pacing of the book seems wrong. And all the characters are Rob Liefeld stiff. Like, they're not moving. They don't seem to be in very natural stances. So while I feel like, I've got it right here so I can look up the artist's name. Rockerfort art, like he looks like a great cover artist and a great like poster artist. I don't know if he's a great sequential artist. I don't know if he's great for the insides of a comic book. And maybe he'll learn as time goes on and his characters will get less stiff and he'll understand that it's not just about drawing beautiful pictures that make a great comic book, but it's also about like having that movement and the pacing of a comic book.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I thought the art on the cover was amazing, and I was like, oh, I want to buy this.
Yep. Exactly. And the art's the same throughout. And it's really beautiful, but it's just stiff and it doesn't have the motion. So I feel like it kind of hurts that book for what it was trying to do. Yeah. Like if that's a book that if you put a Patrick Gleason on, who's currently doing Batman and Robin, that book moves and that book has like everything that you kind of want, which would make it like a standout, where for me it was just a borrow. I mean, I really like the book. I'll probably buy the other ones, but if you're not a Teen Titans fan, if you're not a Will Pfeiffer fan, it's just a borrow because there's something that's lacking for making it a really great comic.
And again, for anyone who might have forgotten or doesn't know, buy, borrow, burn. Buy, you should buy it. Borrow, you're one of those guys who sits on the floor at Barnes & Noble and read the book for 20 or so hours. And burn, send it to the fiery pits, like dead.
Yes.
Okay, next book, Manifest Destiny.
One of my favorites.
It like when the book started, I was like, okay, I get it. It makes sense, but what can they do with it? And then as the book went on, I was like, they could do everything with this book.
Exactly, and that's what they're doing. It's no stone unturned type book. I mean, if you would have told 8th grade me when I was learning about Lewis and Clark that I would be reading a comic book about Lewis and Clark and thoroughly enjoying it, I would have slapped the 30-year-old me in the face and called me a dirty liar.
Yeah. Why am I reading about Sacagawea?
I know. And who would have thought that Sacagawea would be such a badass in a comic book form?
It's so good.
If you're not reading the book, what the entire plot summation of the book so far is that the Lewis and Clark journey is going on, but we are not given the real reason why in history why they're going on this, which is they're trying to figure out if there's anything mystical or crazy out in the United States. And the answer comes back in issue 1 with a Minotaur in the affirmative. So you kind of know where this book is going. And they've fought everything from like plant zombies to Minotaurs to mutated bears. I mean, this book has thrown everything at you, and you're just watching the entire party just get decimated by all of these crazy creatures with, 18th century technology. So it's been a joy. Every issue I have a smile on my face.
Yep, and I don't want to ruin anything for anyone, but let me just say that someone dies every single issue.
Yes,
so
yes.
Do not get too attached to these characters.
I feel like the only characters that you know that are going to survive are Lewis, Clark, and Sacagawea, because they make it into the history books. They make it home. Every other character is a red shirt from the original Star Trek series. They're going to die. They're on the landing party. Don't get attached.
I hope Sacagawea's man friend stays alive. He's awesome. He makes me laugh.
Yeah. He's a good, I mean, but the book is just really good, and it's not something that I thought I would be interested in. And honestly, I didn't even pick up the first issue. Alan actually had it, and he had bought it, and he hadn't even read it yet. And I had heard some really good stuff about it, so I read his issue when I was over at his place. And I was like, okay, well, I've got to go to the comic book shop now and pick that issue up.
Yeah, that's kind of jumping ships. The same with Rat Queens. I don't know if you read it this week or if you do read it at all.
I do not read Rat Queens. I'm sorry. I'm not swords and sorcery guy. I'm more science fiction guy. So swords and sorcery books like Conan and all of those just don't do it for me.
Yeah, I didn't think I would like it. Like, my friend told me to read it because he's like, dude, have you read Rat Queens? I was like, no. Why would I read a book called Rat Queens? Then I bought issue 1, 2, and 3 because I think 4 issues were out at the time, so I bought all 4. And I was like, this book is actually one of the best books I've ever read. Like, it's funny. There's a lot of action. The art is bar none the greatest in any Image book I've ever seen. And
are we talking old Image too with McFarlane?
Right now, in all the books I'm reading, if I had to pick one artist to draw every single book I'm reading, it would be Rock Upchurch. Whoever that is, but
he's got a fan in you.
Yeah, but like this issue, it continues off the last one. If you read the last one, stuff happens.
Oh, it sounds so interesting. Way to sell me on that book.
Let me open it up. All right, so basically, like the woman from the last arc, she's she's found in like a very bad way, and then just straight action happens for like every single page. It's by far one of the best books I'm reading. If you guys didn't know, I think it was optioned for a cartoon show on HBO.
Yep, it's going to be an HBO cartoon, so I'm sure issue 1's going to be going through the roof. If you have it, congratulations.
The Fiona Staples variant is quite expensive.
Yes, it is.
Well, that's the top 3. You gave me 5, and I didn't like you giving me 5 because that's the top 3.
Well, I'm not very good at giving top 3. We didn't talk about one of my top 3s. We didn't talk about Robin Rises.
That wasn't your top 3. It was Wicked, Titan, and Manifest.
Yeah. So, well,
let's talk about
we have to talk about Robin Rises Omega because it's the big event book that DC is running out right now. And as Mr. Thomas told us last week, it was the most requested book at his comic shop. So for those of you who didn't pick up Robin Rises, the first 5 pages are all telling you where Damian Wayne came from and what has happened to him. So it's a great jumping on point if you're not a big Batman fan. And then the last 30 pages are a giant fight scene between Batman, Ra's al Ghul, and Glorious Godfrey from Apocalypse.
You forgot Frankenstein?
Oh, Frankenstein is there. And then the Justice League appears for like the last 3 pages. And Batman punches Shazam and Lex Luthor in the face. So that seems to be Batman's new way of saying hello to everyone.
He's like that child that like I guess
his parents were killed when he was 8, so 8 or 12, I can never remember. So I guess like he's stunted there, and that's how you said hi. Is that what you and your friends did? You guys punch each other in the face? Was that what was cool back when you were a kid?
I mean, that's how we got around. You just punch girls in the face, and anyone. What's up?
You know, it wasn't a bad story. I really like Peter Tomasi. He's one of my favorite writers. I've loved him since he was on Green Lantern Corps.
First off, I'm happy that he wrote the Robin Rises story and not some schmuck down the road.
No, I mean, this is his baby because this is going to tie into Batman and Robin, which has been the book he's been writing since the New 52 launched. You know, it's all literally a setup issue. It wraps up nicely what had been happening in Batman and Ra's al Ghul, which is actually Batman and Robin, but they made it Batman and whichever other character was with him at the time.
Yeah, it was heroes and then villains and then heroes.
Yeah. Yep. So it was a good jumping on point. I enjoyed the fact too that Tomasi understood, hey, people who don't really care for Batman or Robin, or who aren't reading the Scott Snyder run of Batman or aren't reading my run of Batman and Robin, have no idea what's going on in our story. So let me give you a little flashback from Batman's perspective about what's happened so far so that you know what's important.
Yep. Yeah, that does it for the books this week. I mean, we got the usual original Sin book that came out this week.
Yep.
I didn't read it yet, but
I did. It was good. It was spoiled though, thanks to Marvel and their October solicitations.
Yep, like they always do. You know, I hate solicitations. I hate them so much because on one hand, I'm just like, I can't wait for this book to come out, and on the other hand, I'm like, so the next 4 or 3 issues are a waste of my time.
Because you know it's coming.
Yep. It's kind of like, oh, this guy does this. Oh, guess I can just skip over the filler.
Yep.
And then the last book, I don't know, we want to maybe touch on the last will and testament
of Charles Xavier. Yeah. Well, I know Mr. Simon isn't here to tell us all about why we should pick it, why we should have picked it up. Honestly, it was okay. I'm not an Uncanny X-Men reader, so it was good because it kind of filled in the holes. But ultimately, nothing really happened in that issue. Like you find out that they need everyone there to read the last will and testament of Charles Xavier, and Cyclops isn't there, so they need to get Cyclops back into the fold so that they can find out what's going on with the last will and testament of Charles Xavier.
Yeah, and that's all we have right now. Like,
yep.
I mean, I'm excited for the continuation of the series. Like, is it gonna like finally not give us 1,000 different X-Men books? Like,
I have no idea. I doubt that will ever happen.
I hope.
As long as the X-Men are popular, I think that there will be X-Men books. But I know that Marvel isn't super happy with the X-Men books, and this is going to be the beginning probably of Axis and what happens after Axis as well.
Yep.
So it's definitely worth picking up,
even if you don't know anything about it.
Absolutely, that's what I did. I went in there. Just so everyone who listens to the podcast knows, there are tons of really popular characters that I don't care about. Last week it came out that I didn't care about Spider-Man. This week it has come out that I don't care about the X-Men. Every week I will reveal a new character that I don't care about, that everyone else does, so that you can all hate me a little bit more each and every week.
It's just baffling that you don't. Like, okay, listen, I'm going to reveal another thing. You do not read the current Batman series.
I do not. I read it. Hey, no, okay. I read it all the way through the Court of Owls and all the way up to Year Zero, and I just can't stand the Year Zero arc. I've been a Scott Snyder fan forever. I picked up his run on Detective Comics. It was what reintroduced me to Batman, and I started buying Batman because he was writing it, and I really enjoyed it. Year Zero just doesn't do it for me. I've read Batman Year One, and Year Zero does not fit in with Batman Year One, because what you're telling me is that before Batman was Batman, the Riddler was around, but then when Batman became Batman in Batman Year One, there were no costume criminals around. Exactly. It hurts. It hurts your head when you start thinking about comic books logically. So don't just go have another beer.
Then don't think about that.
But it's how my brain works, man. It's how my brain works.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, well, I guess we could talk about the books coming out next week.
Yes.
As everyone probably knows or doesn't know, next week I think is the 75th anniversary of Detective or Batman.
Yes.
I think they're giving away those masks or whatever.
Yes, they are.
And
so everyone's going to be a Batman fan.
Yup.
Next week.
Jump on that train.
Indeed.
And then the continuation, Batman and Robin, continues.
Yep. Which I will pick up.
Which is, are you reading the current series?
You know what? That's one of those books that I flirt with. Because I love the creative team on that book. Patrick Gleason is my all-time favorite artist right now. I love his style. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of Peter Tomasi. But what ultimately happens is that I don't want to read Batman and Two-Face. So I don't pick it up while it's Batman and Two-Face, and then I'll pick it up when it's Batman and Ra's al Ghul. So it's not a book that's on my pull, but it's a book that I definitely pick up from time to time.
Yeah, and then keeping on with the Batman trend, they got Batman Eternal, which is pretty good. I mean, it's not the book that I want. Like, I want like a solid continuation of one story, not 5 different stories that you might get to read on in this issue. Like, I want to know what's going on with Stephanie Brown. I want to know that story fully, completely.
But they're going to make you wait for it. You're going to get like 2 issues of it, and then it's going to be something else.
I hate it so much. But, I mean, it's good. I'm reading it.
Oh, yeah.
At least.
Yeah, I'm not. They dropped that.
Oh, you're missing out. Well, a book you're not reading, Batman.
Which everyone else is, because it's the #1 selling comic book.
0 Year ends next week, which I'm excited
goodness.
to read. Flash. I don't read Flash, so.
I do.
You like it?
I do. I've actually really... I didn't think I was going to like it because it's the same writer who is currently digging a hole so big in Green Lantern that I'm thinking about dropping a book that I have almost every issue of.
Yep.
And that goes all the way back to the first appearance of Hal Jordan. I'm 13 issues short, by the way. If anyone wants to hook me up, you can you can message me on Twitter, and I will be more than happy to be your friend for life for those issues. But anyways, it's been really interesting. I kind of want to see where they're taking the story. It's a time travel story right now. It's a lot of Barry Allen trying to fix future Barry Allen fixing mistakes that he's made in the past. Yeah. And we also learned something new about the Speed Force, that like Barry Allen, as he uses it, is losing time. So like right now, it's only a couple of seconds, but the Barry Allen in the future is losing a lot more time than that.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that sounds interesting, but can't get into it. Not a huge Flash fan. Justice League Dark, which has been solid since Blight. I didn't read before Blight. That's the Forever Evil storyline. But yeah, that's pretty good this week. Red Lanterns.
One of my favorites.
Woo, book is so good.
It's awesome. It's, you know what, my favorite Green Lantern is Guy Gardner, and now that he's a Red Lantern, I love him even more. That ever since Charles Soule took over that book has been amazing. If you're not reading it, pick it up.
True that. You reading Secret Origins?
No.
Maybe. That's
because it's
like I picked up the Batman one and the Superman one. I didn't pick up the last 2. Or the last one.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I am. It's okay.
Yeah, it's decent. I mean, if a writer that I like is writing a story on something, I'll pick it up.
Yeah,
But I don't care about origins really.
Yep.
Superman continues.
Yep, we're gonna get the second issue of the Jeff Johns run. I'm surprised at how many people are split on that. Like a lot of people are saying, been there, done that. But I'm lukewarm on Johns at best, and I enjoyed the first issue, and I kind of can't wait to see where the second issue goes.
I hope he has like a little talk thing in the back. Like, I know you all hate me, but give me time.
See, I don't think most people don't hate Jeff Johns.
A lot of people don't like him.
Yeah, he's, but everyone says that, but then Justice League sells that well.
Mm-hmm.
So then if so many people don't like Jeff Johns, why is it a top 10 book?
No. Did I say, no, I meant to say John Romita.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, JR, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's a hack. I'm sorry. I know there are probably fans of his out there, but, oh, man. I put any other artist on that book, and I will be more than happy to read that book.
Get Jimmy from down the road, have him do some stick figures.
Absolutely.
No. Okay, no, we're done with DC. Let's go on into Marvel, yeah. Continuing with their 100th anniversary specials, Avengers.
Just makes me want to face palm.
I have not bought a single one.
No, and I'm sorry. You've been around just as long as Batman has, and now you're giving me a book that's supposed to take place 25 years in the future.
Well, all these take place 25 years in the future?
Yeah, because they're not. It's not the 100th anniversary of any of these characters.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Superman's been around for 76 years. Batman's been around for 75 years. Spider-Man didn't appear until the 60s. Most Marvel characters didn't appear until then. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I thought it was the 100th anniversary of Marvel or something.
No, they take place in the future, and that's why you have like Kingpin, Venom, and all this other stuff. I have no interest, Marvel. You're not going to get my money with another cheap gimmick.
All right. Well, another title that's gonna receive my money just because. All New Invaders. Why is that book so bad?
I like Robinson, but I couldn't make it past issue 3. I applaud you for making it this far into the book.
I like the original Sin story is what's killing it for me. Like I absolutely I never, even if a book is bad, I usually just continue it because I'm like, I bought this, I should probably just finish it. I got through issue 7, maybe 2 pages, and then I just casually flipped through the rest. I was like, I'm not reading the rest of this.
No, we've all done that though. We've all had that book where it's like, you know what? No, not this week. I always love when those issues come, and I'm like, okay, well, I have a month to read it, and then the next issue comes out, and I just put it right underneath it, and they just live at the bottom of my pull pile.
Eventually, I'll read this. Eventually.
Yeah, it's like when I have like 5 issues, I'm like, I have to clear this out. That's how I've been reading Green Lantern as of late.
Dude, I dropped that book so hard. But we're not gonna talk about that because it's a bad book. All New Ultimates. It's a good book.
Well, I know they're canceling Ultimate Fantastic Four, so I don't think it's long before they cancel All New Ultimates.
It's not Ultimate Fantastic Four, it's Ultimate FF.
Whatever.
Right. Continuing.
Obviously, Marvel couldn't, so why should I? Oh!
I hate you. Spider-Man.
Yeah, another book I don't pick up.
But you should, because
it's the first appearance of the Silk, isn't it? Isn't this issue 4?
Yep, first appearance.
Yeah. You know what? I gave it the good old college try with the new #1. It was still crap.
But it's good. Why don't you like it?
It's not.
I'll never understand you.
It's all right.
Daredevil.
One day I'll tell you my reason why I don't like Spider-Man. One day.
Because one day you'll know. If you don't.
No, I know exactly why I don't like
you do not know right now. You are still confused. You have no idea why you hate him. You're stuck in this world where I like him, but I don't want people to know. And I'm gonna read it, but I'm gonna tell people I don't read it.
Here, in a nutshell.
No, I would not believe you.
If you had a friend who is married to a supermodel / actress, who lived in a nice apartment in downtown New York, who had superpowers
in an apartment.
In New York, downtown New York.
Okay.
We're talking expensive apartment downtown New York.
Okay.
Not talking about like a little slum in Brooklyn.
Hold on. What is she modeling?
Well, it doesn't. She's a model / actress. Maybe she's doing more acting now than what she was modeling.
Okay, so she's fallen off of her modeling career and she's trying to get into acting, but it's hard for her to get into acting?
No, she's in acting.
Okay, like, has she been in, like...
Can we stop asking these questions?
I'm trying to get inside your head and understand these characters.
Okay, well, no, here, let me explain it to you. He worked as a photographer, and all he had to do was take pictures of himself to make money. But yet he told you all the time about how terrible his luck was and how awful his life was. What would you want to do to that guy?
Smack him in the face?
Yeah, welcome to Peter Parker's world.
That's true.
I mean, if the man makes poor life decisions and then wants us to feel sorry for him. I'm sorry, your aunt died, so you're going to go and say, hey, you know what, I'm no longer married to Mary Jane? No, that's stupid. That is stupid. And that's my whole problem with Spider-Man. He makes poor life decisions, and then I'm supposed to root for the character. And the worst part of it is that one of his greatest villains took over his life for a year and did it better than him. Finished his degree, opened up Parker Industries, made his life a million times easier.
Okay, don't hate Spider-Man, hate Dan Slott, okay?
I'm just saying, man. I just have a hard time with that.
Of the 19 other books that Spider-Man's in, this one is not for you. Alright, well, let's move on. Daredevil.
It's good. Anything by Mark Waid. I was really sad to see him leave Hulk, even though that wasn't my favorite series.
You know, I tried to read Hulk, and then he went back in time, and I was like, what?
Yes. That was a really hard point to pick up Hulk.
I dropped it.
I'm not gonna lie.
That day. Let's see, what else do we got? Original Sin 5.2. Thor.
Yeah, not picking up.
You're not picking up?
Nope, I don't pick up the Original Sin tie-ins.
Oh, but it's a good tie-in. Like, I'm not reading Original Sins or any of the crap.
I picked up Original Sins because they put Black Knight on the cover. And as we went over last week, I love Black Knight. I grew up in the 90s when he had a lightsaber and a leather jacket and led the Avengers. So I was all about it. He had a mullet, too, that stuck out from underneath his helmet. So he was, like, pretty badass for the 90s. He was like Billy Ray Cyrus with a lightsaber.
Did he have a whore daughter?
No, he did not.
I didn't say that. Okay, Storm.
I'm interested in that book.
No, I like Greg Pak, but no interest in the character.
That's why I pick it up, because of Greg Pak.
No interest in the character. Can't do it. Wolverine and the X-Men.
I don't pick up any X-Men titles, so...
Why is that?
Nope.
Why is that book so bad, but I can't stop buying it?
Because it has Wolverine in the title, you little Marvel zombie.
But, like,
They could put Wolverine and the Comatose Avenger, and you would pick it up.
Buy it every
It would be like Wolverine sitting next to his whichever Avenger they decide isn't important enough, and they put him in a coma, and Wolverine just talking to him.
It could be Wolverine and his dead mom. I'd still buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
He just has issues. My dead mom.
Oh, you're gonna be really sad when they kill him off in a couple months.
Oh, shut up! All right. Oh no, I'm gonna be sad, and my wallet's gonna be sad because. Woo, Steve McNiven. I have to buy every single one of those stupid friggin' variants. Oh, I have to. Okay, we're done with Marvel. There's nothing else coming out that is exciting. But, Revival by Image. Yeah?
Interesting book.
Are you?
I haven't read it.
You haven't read it? I haven't read it either.
We won't talk about it.
We will not. Moving on. Saga.
Saga, I know if Alan was here, Alan would be telling me why I need to be picking up Saga.
You're not reading Saga! Ah!
I told you, if everyone else is into it, I'm probably not.
God dang it! You probably love the super animated man #2.
No, I did not. I read Alan's first one, and no.
It's not good. It's too confusing for a first issue. And you're reading Trees?
I am.
Okay.
That's a good book.
I couldn't really get into issue #2 because, like, to me, I don't feel like this is going anywhere. Like,
It's Warren Ellis at his most Warren Ellisness. So it's gonna take you 5 issues to really figure out what's going on, and then light bulb's gonna click, and you're like, oh, this has all been really good. But it's gonna take until issue 5 for it to make sense.
Well, I stopped reading it, so whatever. A book that I absolutely adore, Velvet. Anything Brubaker.
Brubaker is great.
Are you reading Velvet?
I am not reading Velvet.
It's like this middle-aged spy whose boyfriend or whatever got into some stuff. He died, and now she's trying to figure out why he died and why they're covering it up. It's so good, and you got Steve Epting, which, if you didn't know, Ed Brubaker, Steve Epting did Captain America: Winter Soldier story. So it's amazing as always. Other than that, there's nothing really coming out that I'm too excited for. Did I hit everything?
I don't know if you hit everything, but we hit a large majority there. If you can't find something you like from what we talked about, then you're just not a comic book fan.
Yeah, and if you want to find other stuff, you can go online. You can use our site. I'd rather be reading comics.com.
Absolutely.
For anything we might have not talked about, or
absolutely
that we did talk about. Comic business this week, man, and this week coming up. Isn't SDCC this week?
Yep.
I just don't like news. I don't like comic book news. Like,
really?
I don't like seeing something that's gonna come out in 2 months. It's like I love video games.
But then we wouldn't have a podcast. Like, half of our podcast is talking about stuff that is news, not necessarily that's going on in comics right now.
No, that's not our focus. We talk about stuff that matters to us.
Yeah, which is stuff that's going to happen in 2 months and why we hate it.
The other two people who are not here that love to talk about news are not here, okay? I'm not the news guy. I'm the passionate lover of comic books who only knows current.
Or indie books.
Well,
that hipsters like.
Dude, I read. There was a point where I read way too many indies. It was just like, I don't understand how I kept up with it. But I know there was a time in my life where I was like, okay, I have to drop all these books like right now.
Yep.
And then The Walking Dead.
That's usually what happens.
The Walking Dead destroyed me. Because I was like, I need more of these books. But I couldn't get them all in like trade paperbacks. And I was like, I have to read them month by month? I can't do that. It's unheard of. Alright, well, there was no around the horn because just two of us.
Yep.
No one's really a winner.
Do you want to pitch anything? Is there anything that you're looking forward to that you want to pitch?
Not that I'm looking forward to, but a book that...
Is there any book that you think everyone should be reading?
It's great that you say that, Ryan. Thank you for leading me into this.
No problem. It's almost like we talked about it beforehand.
I don't know when it came out. Probably came out a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I think it came out very recently.
It did.
If any of you don't know, Brian Lee O'Malley, the creator of Scott Pilgrim Saves the World and all that awesomeness, he came up with the next book. I think it came out 4 years later, called Seconds. It's a crazy book. I'm not 100% done with it yet, but so I can't really give my full synopsis and review of it right now. But I promise you next week I will. It's basically crazy, fun, over the top awesomeness that is Brian Lee O'Malley. Other than that does it for us.
All right.
Again,
we promise to be better next week when there's hopefully more than two of us here.
Yeah, that's true. And we're trying to keep it to like at least an hour, maybe less than an hour. Like, we don't want to like bore everyone.
Exactly. So no rambling.
Yes.
Is what he's saying as he rambles.
Granted, we did. Okay, you know what? On that note, I'm Jake.
I'm Ryan.
And this has been the podcast.
Yep. See you guys next week.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud.